Hey everyone, Pastor Chris here. Welcome to the Poolside Chat. Today was a really, really good day. Susan and I went out to Cocoa Beach yesterday, Titusville. No agenda, just went downtown. And then today we went to Kennedy Space Center. And it's just, I think sometimes I forget how much I enjoy something until I get there. Kennedy is one of those places. And it was just plain fun getting out there to see all the stuff. Anyway, I thank God for that, but I wanted to share. A question came up this week, and it's one that came up a little while ago, too. But, they bombed Iran, so he stopped all the nuclear program and all the attacks and missiles. Question was, how can people, in this case, when the Palestinians from the Gaza Strip, when they attacked Israel, how could they be so cruel? I'm not going to recount the cruelty that they did, but it was just unspeakable horrors that had no other purpose other than to watch the people around them suffer before they suffered and died. And the question I was asked is war is understandable, fighting is understandable, but the deliberate cruelty just to inflict suffering, they couldn't understand. And I struggle with this. The study of this is called theodicy. That's the scholarly term. How can a good God allow evil? And my answer to this is, I want to say I don't know, but I do. And I do because of what God said. Jeremiah 17:9, Book of Jeremiah, Old Testament. And in this section, this is God talking about the day of disaster. And in 17:9, he says, man's heart, the heart, is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can understand it? Or who can explain it? And that's what you asked me to do, explain it. But God said the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Desperately wicked. It doesn't really do anything to explain it, other than God tells us that's the heart. And it's just what it is. I had a friend who's doing a Bible study, men's Bible study once, and he made an observation. We see evil happen in the world, and we say Satan has done this and Satan does that. And he thought that sometimes we might give Satan more credit than he deserves. Man's heart is evil above all things and desperately wicked. Now, will Satan take advantage of that? Oh, by all means, yes. But it's man's heart. I'm losing light. Romans chapter 1. He goes on and he explains about man. I need a light. Hold on a second. Okay, back with you. Got my light. Romans chapter 1 kind of talks about the evilness of man. And it says, this is starting in verse 18, the wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. Since what may be known about God is plain to them, because God has made it plain to them. For since the creation of the world, his invisible qualities, his eternal power, divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools, and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images made to look like mortal human beings, and birds and animals and reptiles. And this is the important verse. This is verse 24. Therefore, God gave them over and their sinful desires of their hearts to all this terrible, terrible stuff, because the heart of man is desperately wicked and evil above all things. So I would dare say, when you are without God and you reject God, there's a point where God will give you over to your evil desires and you act on those. So how can all these horrible, horrible things happen to do nothing other than to inflict suffering and ultimate terror, and just terror on others? Because God gave these people, anybody, but in this case, these people that attacked Israel October 7th, 2 years ago, to their evil desires of their heart, and without God, even with God, the heart of man is desperately wicked and evil above all things. So I hope that answers that question. Last thing I will say, it's all men, mankind, women. Why do I not include Christians in this? There is I don't know if it's a saying, that's not right. But we often ask, do you want to accept Jesus into your heart? Because our hearts, our human hearts, our hearts of stone, are evil, desperately wicked and evil above all things. But it says that God comes to live in our heart when we place our faith in him. He rules our heart. He rules us. It's not that our human hearts are not desperately wicked and evil above all things. They are. But we ask God to rule in our lives, to replace these evil desires with godly desires, to replace this wickedness with God's righteousness. And that's what we get. It's always a battle. It's always a struggle. But God is there to remind us and rule over us. And that's what it means when we say we give our lives to God and we want him to lead. All these words, some are older words, some are a hard translation from Hebrew. I will become a bondservant to the Lord. I will become a slave to Jesus. It means I want Jesus to rule and follow him. Because the human heart is desperately wicked and evil above all things. How can these things happen? That's why. But can I understand it? God himself says in Jeremiah 17:9, last phrase, who can know it? Who can understand it? So, Hope that answers your question. Great question. I had to chew it over for a while. But anyway, guys, have a great night. Remember, tomorrow's Sunday, so go to church. Keep the questions coming. It's been a tremendously busy week in the public U.S. scene, even around the world. Bible, life, keep them coming, guys. Remember, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble at FL Compass Church, and now on Instagram at FL Compass Church. Have a great night. See you Wednesday.